There are times when someone is so confrontational, or they're just, I mean, let's face it, like they just cost a lot of money to work with. You know, that they're having to go there all the time.
It's the
They have
stress
like a high level of expectations.
and the profit margin is very little.
It's very, very low. They're adding new things all the time. Then if they're going to ask for the world, then they need to pay for it.
They wouldn't ask one of their employees, hey, can you come work Saturday, but I'm not going to pay you. Just come here and work for 8 hours.
Exactly.
They wouldn't even consider that, but they're going to ask you to clean their dishes.
And so now they're taking advantage of you. And all it took was 1 or 2 times for them to know that they could take advantage, that they're just going to continue to do it and continue to do it and continue to do it because you're a victim now.
That's with huge companies.
Yes.
You know, like you should be thankful you're working with XYZ. They try to strong arm you because they think you're stupid and they think, you know, you're going to do whatever just because you're happy to work with XYZ.
I've said it in a lot of past videos. I mean, this is our fault that this happens, right? It's not anyone else's. So, you know, if you have a bad client, first of all, take a look in the mirror and then say, what did I do? What part did I play in this person becoming this monster? And how do I go in and say, this is the way we do business and let's move forward with it, or let's get out of it to get, you know, it's like, let's both agree that this doesn't work. How do you know when it's time to let a client go? There could be several factors that lead up to this situation. Whatever the reason may be, letting go of a client could potentially be better for your business than you may actually think. It could cost more to keep a client and also downgrade the value of your work, costing you way more to maintain the client and your business. In this video, Greg and I will go over some key points to look out for and what you should do if it's time to let go of that client.
That being said, everyone's here watching our video. We appreciate you guys being here. There's one thing I'd like for you to do.
Just one?
Right now, there's just one.
Just one thing.
That's what I'll talk about. I'd like for you guys to subscribe to the channel. I know we put a lot of content out, but subscribing helps us like do things like get these cool mics. That way you can hear what we're saying. So when you're driving 110 miles an hour down the freeway, you can hear us very clearly.
With the windows down.
With the windows down.
Yeah.
Or on your motorcycle. And it doesn't cost you anything. So it's something that, you know, helps us, you know, not just, helps us financially be able to put out more stuff. It lets, you know, Jordan, our new producer over here, he needs the money, man.
Producer and director.
Yep. So maybe we'll hire a director, but go ahead and like, subscribe it. You guys get all our live streams. It gives you the ability to kind of like answer in, right? You can write your comments. We're going to watch all that stuff. Yes, you can write a comment without subscribing, but it's so much nicer to subscribe.
And I think to your point, like on the comment side of things, like we're so close to the trees, we can't see the forest, right?
Yeah.
So like we don't always know what to write about or what to do podcasts on because we're like, well, what kind of crap happened this week? I mean, it's different all the time, as I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. So, you know, you being a subscriber to the channel gives you, I mean, you could comment without subscribing, but why would you? You know, you might as well subscribe and then go ahead and throw some stuff up. As a matter of fact, we're going to answer some more questions.
You can make fun of my
today.
haircut.
I like your haircut. I'm going to get some of that. Like, you have like a little polishing wheel,
On a drill, like a Ryobi? Don't be
well,
Ryobi on me. You got to get Milwaukee.
You got to Milwaukee or Makita. Like, you got to go like real deal, not Ryobi.
Try that. If I have a big bruise on my head, maybe that's why I tried and it didn't work. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I hope
anyway,
not.
so let's talk about our topics today. When should you fire a client? Now, fire is a big word.
And that probably carries some anyway. I think it's one of the
move on from a client.
When should you tell a client that you no longer want to work with them? Because there's a lot of folks that are watching, listening to this right now. They're like, I would never fire a client because that's money in my, in my bank account.
There's many instances when you're paying clients to clean your building.
Yeah. But is it?
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, today we're going to be talking about some things you really need to keep an eye out for. But, you know, I guess the first thing we really should, ask is it okay to fire somebody? To tell them that you don't want to work with them anymore? This is a two-way street. May seem obvious, but the simple answer is absolutely it is okay to fire them. That's why your contracts have a 30-day clause that can go
both of
for
you.
both sides for any reason.
So how do you fire them? Of course, you want to be respectful. You don't want to text message fire them. Come on, ain't your girlfriend in third grade?
I
Um,
didn't have a phone in 3rd grade.
I did, but I had a cord on it.
You were texting people.
Maybe it was. But how do
You
you
faxed
fire
them.
them respectfully and professionally? Because of course you want to leave them amicably and be like, you know what, hey, this just doesn't work out. Not like, you know what, I hate OctoClean
Yeah.
or I hate whatever.
ABC Cleaning Company or whatever.
AA Ron's cleaning.
What? Yeah, the mess with Aaron.
That's not Aaron. That's AA Ron.
Aaron, that's a different guy. Okay.
Messed up AA Ron.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so there's a lot of ways that you can do this. I mean, and we're going to get into that here in a minute, but if somebody's a jerk, sometimes you just need to set them straight and be like, look, this isn't how we do business and this is what we expect. And if you're not going to be able to communicate with us in a professional way, then we're going to have to give you notice.
Because all joking
Right.
aside, I mean,
That's
you're
harassment.
responsible for that with your employee, whether that's your customer saying that to your employee, HR wise, you're still responsible for that interaction.
Yeah.
So you can get sued by your employee because you did nothing about it. So be very aware that the days of, oh, it's just Bill and he's just kind of that way, that is over.
Why are you bringing up Bill?
So
Remember Bill?
what?
Yeah, City Center.
Yeah.
All right. Follows me on Facebook.
Shout out to Bill Collette.
I don't know if he's still alive anymore. Anyway,
Come on, man.
so another
Don't kill him off in the conversation.
No, I know. So another great way to, I mean, if you're just like, man, I'm just super uncomfortable. I don't know if I want to fire this guy, or this customer. I mean, a great way to do it is it's time for a price increase. Because there are times when someone is so confrontational, or they're just, I mean, let's face it, like they just cost a lot of money to work with. That they're having to go there all the time.
It's a
They
stress
have like a high level of expectations.
And the profit margin is very little.
It's very, very low. They're adding new things all the time. Then if they're going to ask for the world, then they need to pay for it. Right. And that's the other thing that I see so many of our clients not do well, is that they're just like, oh, I'm doing the dishes now. And now I'm over here and I'm dumping this and I'm doing this in the warehouse. And I'm like, well, was that part of your, original scope of work? And they're like, no, but I can't lose this.
Yeah.
Because if I lose it, I can't pay my mortgage. Right. And I'm like, well, those people know that. And so now they're taking advantage of you. And all it took was 1 or 2 times for them to know that they could take advantage, that they're just going to continue to do it and continue to do it and continue to do it because you're a victim now. And so, you've got to, one, I would say you got to stop the behavior early, right? And you can do that in the sales process. You can do that in the onboarding process. But when you do see that, that monster rear his ugly head at you and start treating you that way.
Remember this phrase. That's great. Let me get you a quote on that.
Yeah. Well, here's my favorite line. People will say, oh, can you do this? Like, we can do anything you want us to do.
Just cost you money.
It just costs money. And they're like, oh, well, hold on a second. Because, I mean, we're all in business, right?
They wouldn't ask one of their employees, hey, can you come work Saturday? But I'm not going to pay you. Just come here and work for 8 hours.
Exactly.
They wouldn't even consider that, but they're going to ask you to clean their dishes.
Yeah, no way. They would never, ever, ever do that. And so you've got to, but they will take advantage if you let them. So.
Attention cleaning business owners. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Introducing the OctoClean Media Community, your ultimate resource for growth, education, and connection. With our memberships, you gain exclusive access to a library of expert-led training, live group coaching sessions, and even one-on-one consulting with industry leaders. The benefits include community discussions, share your advice, and get answers directly from Matt, Greg, and myself. Coaching, transform your prospecting, bidding, operations, and marketing strategies with group coaching and one-on-one consulting options. 10-day challenges, boost your leads and confidence in less than 2 weeks. Don't miss out on the opportunity to connect with like-minded professionals who understand your journey. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, the OctoClean Media Community is here to guide you every step of the way. Visit octocleanmedia.com to join today and unlock your cleaning business's true potential.
A couple things, right? So one is you need to confront them on bad behavior. And if that doesn't work, then you can give them
a way to go
give them
about
notice.
this, and the way I'm saying that is, I recently ran into this situation. I'll kind of share a story early on this. I had an employee that came to me and said, new day porter, that every time she comes in, it's their first and second days, that the person that sitting at XYZ desk really liked the old person that was cleaning. And she'd be like, "Aren't you going to take out my trash?" And she's like, "Oh, ma'am, there isn't any trash." And she'd wait for her to walk across the room and she'd throw a piece of paper in the trash can. "There's trash in my trash can now." And she would take it out and then laugh at her. And then she came back the next day and said, "I'm surprised you're even back." So it's bringing it to her boss. I didn't go directly to her and be like, "Hey, look, this is the situation that I'm dealing with." So it's not just firing a client. It's like, how do you get them to realize that they're liable, personally reliable for how they treat other vendors or other people's employees?
Yeah.
And once that happened, now we ain't got no problems. Everything's cool.
Well, I mean, because this turns into like a bigger, subject, right? Where you're there to protect your employee, you're there to protect your team, and bad customers, right? Clients that are usually this way, abusive, and whatever it is, getting free stuff or treating you less than or whatever it is, you really have to be the kind of boss that is going to be like, that is not going to be tolerated.
And it can be an adult to adult. That's what they're not used to. They're like, "Oh,
They're definitely not used to it. Most of at the time, people are not used to it in this industry. And I can spot them, I would say 90% of the time in the
yeah,
sales process, because they start asking questions like, well, what happens if you guys, do bad work? Then I'm going to get a credit, which we're going to talk about here in a little while. But, and you're like, a credit? What do you mean a credit? Well, I don't want to have to pay for something. If you guys miss some dusting on a desk, I should get a credit for that.
yeah."
And
It's
we're like,
really unprofessional behavior.
I'm like, we're not playing this game. If they're looking at already trying to treat you that way, that's just the tip of the iceberg, man. Just the tip of the iceberg. And I think it doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, because, business owners, generally speaking, we put up with a lot of crap.
And that like behavior that Matt's saying, sometimes that's with huge companies.
Yes.
Like, you should be thankful you're working with XYZ. I think we deserve a credit for the last 8 months because, we got 3 complaints about they missed a trash can. I think that's worth a 25% credit.
Yeah.
Instead of coming to us and saying, "Hey, look, it's been really rough. Our, profit's not where it should be. They're asking us to cut our budgets. What do you guys think you can do?"
Yep.
Instead, they try to strong arm you because they think you're stupid and they think, you're going to do whatever just because you're happy to work with XYZ.
And let me just say, to acknowledge this to anyone who's listening, because there's going to be a handful, I mean, more than a handful, the majority of the people who are listening to this right now, they're going to be like, you guys have the luxury of being able to tell people to go eat it. Right. And we
don't. I mean, because we have franchisees that are in these buildings that do depend on this money to pay their mortgage.
Well, but even going, further back than that, I mean, we swallowed a lot of, crap from
Yeah.
people in the old days, when we first started out, because we needed the money, right? We needed to be able to, pay the bills and feed ourselves. And I think those were lessons that we were like, when we get to a certain point,
We're not going to let our franchisees be treated like that.
we're not going to be treated that way, and we're not allowing other people to be treated that way. And, and I would tell you that if you don't start your business with tolerating it, you're not going to have to do what we did,
Yeah.
which was unravel years of dealing with jerks and say, this is the way we do business, take it or leave it.
And they're jerks, and it's usually underbid.
And it's usually underbid. And most of the time, 99% of the time, they were underbid. And then when you go to them and say, hey, we're doing all this extra stuff for you for free, they're like, well, how come the price is going up so much? Because we're doing all this work for you.
Well, that should be included. You should be refilling my copy machines every night. What are you talking about?
No, we were like
Bringing
bringing
sodas
yes.
and coffee and all this stuff. It's like, what are we doing here?
Bringing copier paper from rooms, dropping it off at every copy machine, like, refilling coffee maker. I mean, it was ridiculous, the kind of things. And we would sit back and justify it and say, well, this is what service looks like. But not when you start putting employees in.
No.
Now you're starting to put employees in and you're like, oh, shoot, I can't afford to pay these people and have them do all this extra stuff and make a profit. And then when they miss it one time, I'm getting
It's a huge, I need to see you in my office right now.
Yeah, we're getting beaten up, So and this is, I've said it in a lot of past videos. I mean, this is our fault that this happens, right? It's not anyone else's. So, if you have a bad client, first of all, take a look in the mirror and then say, what did I do? What part did I play in this person becoming this monster? And how do I go in and say, this is the way we do business and let's move forward with it, or let's get out of it together. It's like, let's both agree that this doesn't work, but that's not,
And most of the time it's the opposite. Like, oh, I don't want you to do that because then my boss is going to know how I treat you.
Yep.
Because he would not tolerate that.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, well, then let's clear this up. And then it's always this animosity.
Yeah. Well, we struggle at times. Like we just had and this isn't a bad client, right? But it is a bad situation. We have a school that we work with out in Arizona that when the franchisee's sending us in pictures she goes in the evenings, the bathrooms are trashed.
The whole place is trashed.
Like, these kids are,
it looks like Jumanji ran through it.
It is no, for real.
Like, it's like, good Lord.
No, it's terrible. So, the franchise owner is like, well, I don't want to cause trouble and I don't want to, get fired because we complain. And we're like, no, take pictures, send them over. And it took the guy 3 days, right, to respond, but he finally did today. And he was like, I'm going to meet with the principal and I'm meeting with all the teachers and explaining to them what their responsibilities are. And we're like, that's great. Just so you know, right, we'll do the work, but it's going to cost you a lot more money.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we'll get it taken care of. But his previous companies, they
just tolerated it. Like,
they
you know
took
how
the
I'm going to
abuse.
do? I'm just not going to do anything. I'm going to empty your trash because, you guys are a disaster anyway. And I'm going to leave your building a mess.
Exactly. And then
And
we
it's
end
just
up
like,
getting in
huh?
there. And now it's just this, this constant, circle of crap. It's like, oh, let's go to the next company and treat them like garbage because they're not going to say anything. So for us, finally, somebody said something and now they have to take responsibility for themselves. So it really,
So stay tuned. We'll see if they will.
yeah. So a bad client is not always a bad client. Sometimes it's just bad operations.
Yeah.
It's your unwillingness to confront the situation head on and get the person to partner with you. Right. Now, where you do have issues is when you have people who are just complete, like toxic folks. Right. And that, and toxicity, falls into some of these categories. Right. So one, and I'll read through these and then we can just kind of pick and choose. One is that their behavior is completely disrespectful. They're demeaning. Maybe they're using slurs. They're doing things like, they're yelling and screaming. They're harassing your employees. You're also getting like, they call you to come out and do extra work. And at the last minute, they're like, nope, don't want you to come. We got somebody else to do it.
Yeah. And you're already there. You're like,
it's like, well, wait, what, huh? So that you're spending all this money and then they don't want to pay for anything. Always nitpicking or never satisfied, even when you do deliver. So they're just looking for ways to poke holes in everything you do. And no matter how hard you work, they're always going to be this way. Late payments and asking for discounts, right?
Late payments are just, and that's like one of the most disrespectful things you can do in this industry.
Well, it is.
Because we're labor.
We're labor.
We have to pay our people.
Yeah.
You have to pay your people at your business, and you're not going to pay us? Huh?
It boggles the mind how people think that they can late pay vendors.
Yeah.
Right. That they're just like, oh, well, we'll get to you next week. And we're like, then so will we. Yeah. It's like,
that's been
if you don't pay, we're not coming, and then, you're going to see a letter from our attorney, so there has to be payment. And the discount thing, to your point, we're going to get into this as a story here in a minute. We'll hide names to protect others.
Protect the innocent.
Well, I don't know how innocent they are.
Well,
but to protect those that
are liability.
But late discounts are total. I'm just going to use that's total bullshit.
Yeah.
And there are certain situations where you're going to enter into government contracts that it's written explicitly into those contracts that if you have deficiencies that they can do discounts.
But it's documented deficiencies.
Yes.
Right.
It's documented
Not like,
deficiencies.
I remember like 2 months ago, you forgot to take my trash out.
Right. But
I didn't tell you.
But all of your contracts, there is no provision for that.
No.
There's absolutely no provision for them asking for discounts. And they're asking for them because they're trying to cut budgets and all the things you said earlier.
They want to look good to their boss.
Right. And they say, well, we could keep them, because their boss is the culture at their company is that the boss is a bully. Well, go tell them they need to give us a discount and maybe I'll consider keeping them.
So then the minions go out and they bully everyone they can bully. and come back and say, look, I got discounts at these 5 people. And the guy's like, great job. You're the best. That's all they want.
So when we get into this story we're about to tell you, I'll tell you how that all went down because this was at the extreme. Well, we've already talked about expecting extras for free. And then a big one is safety concerns or uncomfortable environments. I mean, yeah, being in warehouse facilities, you have females that are working, people
Fitness
getting
facilities.
fitness facilities. Oh man,
We had a lot of people liked working there though.
there's some crazy stuff
shit,
to go
I-
on at 24-hour fitness.
At 2 a.m.
2 in the morning
in
in
the men's locker room.
Yeah. I'm not going to even say if you want to know the stories because
Martha loved it there though.
we're not allowed
She
to
loved
talk,
it.
we're not allowed to talk
She did
about
not
it.
want to leave that locker room.
Yeah.
It was clean.
So these types of things, right? I would say one of the biggest ones is going to be disrespectful behavior, right? You cannot tolerate people treating your employees, in any way other than with respect. And if you do hear it, you need to go at those people full throttle. This is completely unacceptable.
And not at, like Matt's saying, you think at those people. If you're in a corporate environment, at those people means going to their HR.
their HR. Yeah.
Don't go to them because then they're going to be very, very rude to you. And then it gives them time to make up another story on how you were rude to them and get you fired.
Yeah. I usually go directly to the primary contact of the building and say, I just want
exactly.
you to know that
is
this
what's
happened.
going on.
And we need to, engage with your human resources department because this is unacceptable behavior.
And this can happen at any size company. It can happen
Any
in
size.
a mom and pop little $300 a month contract or a $50,000 a month contract.
Yep.
It happens everywhere.
It does. And then I would just say the discounts.
Expecting
and-
extra for free is another issue.
yeah,
But we
no.
talked about that already.
But that's going to be that's a you thing. I mean, that's a leadership thing. If you're
If
going
you
to
start it, it's going to keep going.
all you have to know, if you have this problem, here's how you know. Well, I'll do whatever it takes to keep the client. Right. If that kind of thing is running around in your head.
Well, we really like them, so we're just going to
Yeah.
go ahead and spray off all their lunch tables and blow off their sidewalks. And then we're going to go over to the children's center and do whatever. It's like empty 50 trash cans outside the facility, and it takes me 5 hours to do it. But we really like them.
And I know where you're tracking on this. And we don't want to increase the contract
Yeah.
for 5 or 6 years, even after COVID. We aren't going to name names, but we know where this is. This happens, right? And
But then you like get upset because you're like, well, I don't want to do that anymore. And then it's like, well, you've done it already.
one of the great things about what we get to do all the time, and it's not like, what I think really makes us valuable as a resource to people online is that we're not just running a janitorial company. Like
Yeah, we're dealing with people.
we're working with franchisees who are very similar in ways to the people
all different walks of life.
who are listening to this, watching this, that they're afraid that if they lose an account that they're not going to be able to pay the bills. They can't send their kids to college. They can't send their kids to private school. They can't, whatever
Whatever
right?
it is.
And so they're like, don't raise the price. Don't complain to them about all the extras they ask for. And we're like, and we have to be advocates. And we're like, no, like this is how business is done.
And the successful outcomes with that when they actually try it is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Like they're really scared and they're like, you know what? I just made another $1,800 a month.
Yep.
And
And
really, they're like, well, we were waiting on it because really you just saved us $250,000 over the last 10 years. You haven't been charging us that $1,800.
Yeah.
So we'll gladly pay it now.
the one that, I mean, kind of the track story that he was just talking about with like, go clean this and clean the tables and do all this. So this is a real life thing, right? That's going on right now. And I'm working with my account managers on this specific account. And I was looking at it and I'm like, how much would it be last year if we would have raised the price? And so I started doing the math with the account manager and I'm like, we should have raised it last year and it would have been an extra $2,300 a month. So it's not, and I did exactly as you did. I was like, it's not that is it going to be $2,500 more a month this month? It's going to be how much money have we saved you by
over the
not
last 10
raising your
years.
price over the last 7-8 years, right? And they're not going to look at it that way. But that's not the customer's fault. That's your fault.
Yeah.
And
then when they go back out to the market and they say, you got to be afraid of them not going out to bid, but let them go out to bid because it's the same thing. You're going to go out try to buy a car now for what you bought a car for in 1989. You get an F-150 for $15,000 in the early 2000s. You ain't getting that now.
50, 60 grand.
Easy.
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 Yeah. So it's a totally different world and they're comfortable. You're comfortable, except that you go home and complain about it.
Yeah.
You know,
So
so
they're more comfortable than you.
I know we're getting a little off topic on bad clients, but the reason that we're doing it is because in order for you to identify what is truly a bad client, you got to recognize that you could just be a bad owner.
Yep.
Right. And that you're making bad decisions. So,
They're not smart decisions. I don't want to say bad decisions.
Well,
Could be
yeah.
bad.
I mean, weak
Or
decisions.
uneducated decisions. Or
It could be uneducated.
because there's abundance out there with this janitorial. We just came back from ISSA not that long ago. I guess it's a long time ago now.
Yeah.
But there's unserviced is like what, $52 billion worth of service for everyone. So there's enough for everyone.
There's plenty. There's plenty.
There's plenty for everyone. So that guy that's paying you next to nothing, go get another one and feel happy. Throw a party when you send that guy a 30-day cancellation notice because you signed a neighbor who's not going to treat you like garbage.
And, for those of you who are watching, listening right now that, that are not subscribed or a member of OctoClean Media, I mean, I highly encourage you for, $29 a month to be part of this group of business owners that are around the country. Because
around the world, really. We have people in Germany.
Absolutely.
All kinds of stuff.
The reason that it's valuable is because you shouldn't always trust your gut on things. Like you need to really let me throw this into the group chat and see what people think. Like, hey, I have this client. This is what's going on. This is how they're treating me. They want me to do all this extra work. And then you hear from your peers, not to mention Greg and I are on there all the time to be able to say, hey, this is what we think you should do. So you're getting that type of, resource
and support
that you couldn't get. I mean, who are you going to go ask? You're going to ask your husband or your wife. What do you think? They're going to say, we need to pay,
put up with it.
We need to pay the bills, and yes, you do need to pay the bills.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be homeless, probably don't let that guy go quite yet.
But you also need to, understand there's good business practices. So I encourage you to go to OctoCleanMedia.com, get on there, subscribe or become a member. It's well worth the $29 a month.
Take a lunch one day. Nowadays,
and it's Starbucks for 3 days, man.
Yeah.
Unless you got a habit or you're Jordan. Oh no, Jordan, you get free coffee down the street, right? Jordan. Yeah. Jordan. Okay. I went down there today. They didn't give me anything. They don't give me free coffee. They give me a bill.
You're paying for it. He's getting free coffee because you're paying.
I think they're double charging me.
That's what they're doing, dude. They're like, hey, you got a line of credit, Jordan.
Yeah. It could be. I need Moses to come back and hook me up too. I'm gonna go down with you. Maybe they'll give me something free.
Nope.
All right. So how do you prevent and spot red flags early? I mean, if you're selling a new client,
well, here's one way. I got an idea.
Yeah.
How many janitorial companies have you had in the last year?
Bingo.
7.
Bye.
Like, oh man, my back hurts. I gotta go. I think I got a colonoscopy in about 10 minutes.
And is that like how many times have you been married? Question.
Something like that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Or when everyone was like, oh man, you're here. And then they stop you in the lobby. Like, we've had like 7 companies in the last 10 months.
Yeah. Then that's a huge red
like
flag.
When the receptionist tells you.
Yeah. And there would be other things too. I mean, obvious things like when they're asking like, well, your contract, I only want to be on a month to month. I don't want to sign a long-term contract, or
how much do I get out what if I don't like it? Can you just do can we just get a demo? Can we come in here and you like, if you clean for a month and if I like how you clean, I pay you. And if I don't, then you don't have to pay, I don't pay you.
Yeah. They should be pretty obvious, but
they're sneaky like that.
Well, but look, I mean, we have folks. I think one of the questions that we're going to get today is going to be about this. Maybe not on this one, but there are questions that I've seen where people are like, can I just give somebody 2 cleans for free? And you're opening the door
What's
to be
your phone number?
I mean, well, you're opening the door to be taken advantage of.
You're not going to get paid.
No, they're just not going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So value your service. So definitely that's a couple ways for you to identify bad clients. Are ignoring certain instances that feel like red flags. Okay. I think we've already completely beat that thing.
Do your due diligence with that. I mean, if you have an employee coming in saying that it's a red flag, do your due diligence. Don't go in there, guns blazing and start accusing unless you know.
Yeah.
Like, let the HR process take its course.
Yeah.
The story keeps changing. You don't know the names. I don't know the names. It was that one lady. What floor? I was at the second floor. And then the next time, this is the first floor lady. I think I don't know her name. If you're going to call me the big fat bald guy, I'm going to remember your name. Your name is probably Jeff. And I'm not going to forget it.
No, you're not going to forget it.
I mean, like it was Jeff that did it, and he's on the first floor, and he has the desk with the My Little Pony sticker in the back,
Yep. It's that guy. It's Jeff.
right? So
Is,
anyway,
is it Jeff with a G or Jeff with a J?
G
Geoff. Like what? Who would
Joff.
who
My
would
name
name
is
their
Joff.
kid Jeff and
The
with
Toys
a
R Us
G?
guy, the giraffe is named that way.
I know, but they're bankrupt.
Those they're coming back out, man. They're gonna like maybe he should be little. If they come back out, it's kind of like Groot.
Oh
So
my
he's
God!
gonna
It'd be
be
like a little baby
and he's
Groot.
just gonna grow.
I think maybe they'll name him Jeff with a J.
Yeah, Jeff with a J, or
That will get him
baby
all the way,
Groot, and then he's like,
all the way, brother, all the way. All
be
right.
amazing.
So here's a fun share of the story that's germane to this topic.
It is very.
So we have a client that's a car dealership, and we're not naming any names, but the owner of this organization can be a very abrasive individual at times.
Yep, like sandpaper.
And he will sick his minions on his vendors to get free things. And so after many, many months of doing really, really good work and having no complaints, no issues whatsoever, we were confronted by our contact that there were spots on windows and there were a couple other issues, and that they wanted like a huge credit.
Yeah, the first call was to me.
It was to you,
And
yeah.
said, "Hey, Greg, you and I have a good relationship.
Yep.
I'd rather this just go through me and you. But we're really looking at some credit for some window cleaning." And my response was, "Well, you know what? That's great. However, that's not in my realm of responsibility. Let me get you your account manager."
Yep.
And then this is where it went, which I thought I handled pretty well.
No, you
because
did. You did.
I'm like, you know what? I could have had hook, line, and sinker. He could get me on. His hook was this: we get along great. So he's implying that we want to continue to get along great, and I'm very important to. He's very important to me, and I need to keep it that way. I'm like, you know what? That's not my realm of responsibility. I apologize. And I probably could have pushed it further, but I'm like, let me get your account manager involved.
Yep.
And then it was like, damn, I lost that first battle. And then this is the second battle.
Yeah. So I went to an account manager, and the account manager was like, came back to me, and then I had to go to them and say, look, there's no provision for this in the agreement that we can give you credits. We have no record that you've had any issues with these services. The services have been rendered.
And a matter of fact, we had photographic proof.
Yeah, photographic proof of before and
system that we
after and all
use.
this kind of stuff. And they're like, well, yeah, but we just haven't been happy with it overall, so we just like to get I mean, we were talking about a small credit. I mean,
No, it's in
it
the
was in the
thousands.
thousands of dollars. And so I was like, no, I mean, we're not giving you a credit. And it compounded until the owner called me and started yelling and screaming at me and calling me every 4-letter word that you could imagine, that, if you don't, then this and this. And I'm like, we're not doing it. So
Okay, good.
we held our ground, and I was like, here's your only provision. Your provision is that I expect to see a 30-day notice sent to me by email so that we can stop servicing your location. And if you can find somebody sooner, I'll bring you keys. Right? Because, if we're going to be put in a position where we're being beaten and battered, right? This wasn't, not only did these people harass you, the account managers, the franchisee,
Insurance agents.
insurance agents, everybody under the sun. And
Everyone.
then the owner, I mean, when I was just trying to have a respectful conversation with the individual, went off the handle. Like he was like, it was out of control. Right. And I'm like, I can't imagine
working for him.
working in an environment where that kind of behavior is okay. So it was a tough situation. Fortunately, we were able to get through it. And we still suffer with, and struggle with them from time to time. A lot of the same behaviors happen. Like, hey, can you give me a credit?
Yeah.
And we're like, we already told you this. This is just part of it. But, everyone's going to go through this kind of thing. And so, we share these kind of stories because we want you to know, like, we all do it.
You're not alone.
You're not alone at all. So, I know we want funny stories, and we're going to do our best to do that in the future. But this one, I think, really deserved to be a more serious story. So, all right, I'll get this first question, then you get the second one.
Yeah,
You
'cause
good?
that's
All
like
right. So now
every
we're
letter in the
getting into the Q&A. Let's see. Prophecy Revelations 5653. I have a client who will go 6 months with no complaints and first missed trash can Her staff calls in. She's threatening to cancel. This has been going on for 10 years over minor issues. They forget that we can cancel contracts too. Her threats are unacceptable. I'm thinking of canceling her contract and telling her to try another company for 6 months. If you're not happy, we'll come back. We'll welcome her back. Dare to compare. I'm confident in my company. Though not perfect, we'll do good work. I don't think some clients recognize that they have a good cleaning service until they've had a bad one. Well,
There's a lot there. I like that. I
Um,
don't realize some companies have a good cleaning service until they have had a bad one. I don't know if I believe that.
I don't. I mean, we've had clients come back to us.
I think they view her as like, you're just a janitor. So, I mean, I think she needs to build more value with this customer than just we clean and only get gauged on how well they clean.
Yeah,
Maybe it's going there, seeing her,
I was going to say that.
building that relationship and saying,
yeah.
you know what, not only is it they're janitors, they're good people. You know, I know that the money I'm paying them is going to whatever cause or whatever lifestyle that these other people are you know,
There's a lot of
are
things that
doing.
are that we don't know here, right? And like one of them would be, I'm seeing 6 months and then no complaints, and then the first missed trash can, the staff calls in.
I guarantee you there's more there than that.
There's
Like
like
some quality assurance
yeah,
once a month.
there's likely more there. And but what I would say is I would definitely, if you're going to fire a client, don't ask them to come back.
Yeah.
Right.
That's done.
I mean, it's a done deal. And we've had clients who have left us over the years and
Yeah.
have come back because they're like, man, we didn't know what we had until it was gone.
And really, it's like, be the company like us. Like, they know, people in town know that we're not the cheapest, right?
No.
But they do know that they're going to deal with all the BS from these other companies, not showing up, not being able to talk to them on the phone, them sleeping all day. And then, but at the end of the day, when they're done messing with that, you're like, you know what? I'm just going to call OctoClean because I know it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
They're not going to be perfect, but if I have an issue, they're going to take care of it. Someone will be here. They invest in the infrastructure where they can trend and track, and they invest in the infrastructure where they can have somebody come out and talk to me.
Yep.
And it's not the janitor that's cleaning the building.
I would encourage you, Prophecy Revelations, to spend a little bit more time out doing account management visits with this client. So visiting with them, building the relationship, because if they're going haywire because of one trash can being missed, there's more to it than this one trash can.
Yeah.
And if it is just one trash can and you feel like you can live without them, then yeah, just raise their price.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I
And then,
would
hey,
do.
you'll deal with that if they say, yeah, sure, I'll sign right here. You'll deal with that at one trash can.
Yeah, I'll deal with your one trash can and
You're paying for it.
And your hysterics.
So I got a good one for you, Matt.
All right.
Scott 55377. Like they're truck drivers.
I know. 5377.
As a new commercial cleaning business, do you recommend cleaning employees or 1099 contractors? Well, how do I get that analogy? I have a father-in-law, and he's owned car mechanic shops.
Yeah.
And in the past, now he does other things, but he doesn't know how to fix a car. So his mechanic shops really didn't do that good because he was depending on mechanics to tell him what to do. And the same thing with like 1099s. And if I was to answer that question, it'd be a very stern no, especially at first because this is starting out, right? You need to know your business first, or else
Yeah.
you're going to get taken for a ride.
I'll give you to your point, Greg. I mean, we have a couple of preferred vendors, right? Contractors that we work with in different areas of Arizona because we don't have people who are in those areas. But we're extremely picky on who those people are. They have to be legal, corporate
Like a job interview.
entities. We have to see, references, talk to people. There's all sorts of things that go into choosing this company because they're partners. And, so I think that, a lot of times people who just start out, they're watching something. I mean, I just saw something on Instagram the other day. And I was like, I'm just going to go and look around a little bit and see what this is. And I'm not naming names, but they're like, you want to do this with your cleaning company and start and make $1 million in the first year. And, so I started looking into it and I'm like, okay, so basically what they're doing is they're trying to get people to go out and just sell contracts, and they're going to use subcontractors as
To fill those
to
contracts.
fill those contracts. and you don't need to know how to clean, and we'll help you with all this kind of stuff. These people will do everything. We'll show you how to find good qualified contractors. And I'm like, you're not running. This isn't a cleaning company, you know? So I mean, if to your point, if you don't know how to fix a car, you can't tell people how to do it right.
Yeah.
You know, and then so if you're looking for some quick money so that you can like go to Disney World next like summer,
Uber's a good thing.
then you can go, you know
Uber
how to
Eats.
drive, right?
Uber Eats.
You can
deliver
drop
food.
bags off at the front of the,
Yep.
So
Pick people up at the airport.
So if you're going to do 1099, make sure you're doing it strategically and that you create real partnerships.
And they're still in your checks and balances are there. You're still doing your QA. You're still doing all your
your site visits,
your customer interactions with their account managers, all that stuff is still there. So that's
Yeah.
the hard part. Like, yeah, you got to do 1099, and you'll soon realize at 1099 you may lose money.
Yeah. So the red flag conversation is a really good one to have. And I think that this opens up a lot of potential, comments, from people like,
I'd
hey,
love
I
to
have
hear
this
them.
and I have that. And I want to hear like what kind of people you guys
Especially
have
like
run
your
into.
horror stories. I'm sure you guys have some really good ones.
So please leave some comments on this video. We'd love to hear from you. And we want to thank everyone for watching or listening to this episode of the OctoClean podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment with the topics you want to discuss next time. And if you're listening, don't forget to rate and review the podcast. And until next time,
We'll see you later, guys.
we'll see you later.